Hello everybody, my name is CulBlu. I'm bringing out this video of me playing a board game, and today I'm going to be playing through Flash Duel. I've done some stuff to my audio, so we'll see how this works. We'll see if I can stand it, because I'm also listening to myself right now. And yeah, I put on a noise gate. Woo, noise gate. Aren't they great? It's so bothering. It bothers me so much. But at any rate, I'm going to try to bear it for at least this video. You'll probably hear me revert back to my previous settings where you hear all the background noise in the background. But today we're going to be playing through Flash Duel. And Flash Duel is a pretty simple game. In Flash Duel, you're essentially trying to take out your opponent before your opponent takes out you. And it's a very simple, straightforward game. I like it a lot. So let me go and start our background music so I can get ready to do our teach. And then we'll do our playthrough. And we'll see how far we do the playthrough. And also I've adjusted my settings a little bit because it was cutting out a little bit too frequently for me, for my liking. And yeah, I think that's good. That's good. All right. High quality audio. Woo. All right. So jumping into here. I don't know. I think it cuts out too much, you know, the audio. Jumping in here, open up the box for Flash Duel. We have our board. We're going to need that. And we also have our rule sheet. I'll put that on screen here. We got our dragon. We don't need that. We got our bits and bobs that I put in this little bag. I will need... this game comes with pawns. I don't know where the pawns are. I really don't know where the pawns are. I'm a little sad. So I just kind of got meeples of different colors because that felt creative enough. So in this case, we're going to do that. And all right, I'm going to adjust my audio a little bit because I think it's dropping off a little bit too much with the noise gate. Like it's like killing my sound. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. A little bit less jarring there. Like going to dead silence, I think is a little bit too much. But okay. All right, sorry, this video is not about me doing audio checks. So we have our cards here. These are going to be our duel cards. And we're going to need these. These numbers go from 1 to 5. And there are 40 cards in this deck, if I'm not mistaken. So that means that there's 5 numbers, 1 through 5, 40 cards. So there's 8 of each. Let me just double check before we get started here so I can make sure I'm on the right foot. I couldn't check the rule book. Actually, let me just check the rule book. Oop, this game loads. Oop, here we are. No, it's over here. It's on this page. I don't see it. Yeah, 40 number cards. So it's 40 number cards, and these 40 number cards will be essentially what we use to kind of try to punch each other, and I'll explain how the punching each other stuff works. But for right now, there are 8 of each number, so just trust me on that one. And the numbers go from 1 through 5, and they will be used for our playthrough. So we're going to do a simple duel, and in a simple duel, we're essentially trying to do a best of 5. So we're trying to see who can get to 5 or who can win 3 games out of 5 between me and my opponent. And because I'm playing solo, I will be playing against the automaton. And the automaton will function by basically just having an open hand. But let me explain how this game works for a normal 2-player game. And then I'll go back and explain the solo rules afterwards. So it shouldn't be that, because it's not that big of a jump, not that big of a change. So first and foremost, you're going to choose your pawns. Again, the normal game comes with pawns. I'm using meeples because I don't know where my pawns are. So I'm going to use the orange pawn for me, and I'm going to use the gray pawn for the bot, or for my opponent, and I'll put the rest of these away because I don't need them. These markers here, these 5 markers that say Flash Duel on one side and win on the other, are the round markers or the victory markers. You can put those in the middle, you can put them over to the side, you can put them wherever you want. I was going to put them right there for now. And both players are going to start on either side of the map. So this is where my opponent's starting, this is where I'm starting, and this should hopefully be clear enough for y'all to see as I bring it up to full screen and see that it's not very clear. So let me clear that up a little bit so we can not feel like we got Vaseline on the screen here. And what's going to happen is each player is going to get a hand of 5 cards. Is it 5 cards or 6? Let me double check. 5 cards. Each player is going to get a hand of 5 cards, and I'm going to play open-handed, so that way we can kind of talk about how the rules work. And our goal is to win against our opponents and win 3 games out of 5, as I mentioned before. Again, my opponent is the gray one down here. This is me, the orange one. And sorry for the glare. We're just going to have to kind of live with it. But what's going to happen is we're going to get a hand of 5 cards. So there we go. We got our 5 cards. Here's our deck. It's going to be up here. We're going to have our discard over there as well. And like I said, I'm going to play open-handed. So normally, neither player will know what each other has. So throughout the course of the game, you will be doing one of 5 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of 4 actions. I lied. One of 4 actions. Those actions will be to actually, technically one of 5 actions because, man, yeah, there's a number of actions, but there's 4 actions listed here, so I'm just going to say 4 actions. And those actions are to either move, to push, to attack, or to do a dashing strike. So we'll start with the most basic one, move. That's one of the most important ones. It is my turn here, and I have these cards. I have 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a single card, and I'm going to put that card here, and that's going to be my card that I'm playing. So that's going to be a 4. Now, when I play that card, I'm going to move 4 spaces. So I'm essentially going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Congratulations, I've moved 4. Oh, wow. Sorry, let me adjust my stuff here. That AC turning on in the background was not expected. Whew, definitely changes the threshold, dude. Goodness. All right, it should be good. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, we essentially have all that set. Now that I play my card, I move 4 spaces. That is it. My turn is done. Now at the end of my turn, I'm going to do what's called a recovery phase. The recovery phase is essentially I'm going to draw cards up to 5. And again, all this is going to be secret hand information, but that is what you do there. So I am recovering. Now that I'm done, my opponent, they're going to go. And they're going to play a card. Let's say they want to move 2, but they just want to be a little bit more cautious here. They're going to play a 2. They're going to discard a 2. They're going to move forward 2 spaces. 1, 2. And there they go. They move 2 spaces, and now they recover. And they drew a 4. Cool. Now it's back over to my turn, and I'm going to be bold. I'm going to play a 5. I'm going to move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that looks good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to recover, so I'm going to draw my card. Now my opponent's gonna go, and let's say my opponent, they want to be cautious. They don't like the fact that I moved all close to them, so they're gonna move. Actually, yeah, you know, my opponent's gonna do an action called a dashing strike. So a dashing strike is the second action that we're gonna talk about since it's gonna be relevant here in my little demo that I'm doing. A dashing strike is to essentially play 2 sets of cards. One is gonna be your move card, and then you're also gonna play a strike card. Now, the way a strike works normally in this game is that you will count the number of distance that you are away from somebody. So let's use the pink player here as an example for the gray player. So from the perspective of the gray player, they could do what's called a standing strike on the pink player if they had a 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The pink player is 4 spaces away. So if the gray player played a single 4, they will be doing a standing strike against pink for 4. For 1 damage. Now, you can also play multiple cards, so they have 2 4s. So the gray player could play 2 4s, like so, and that will let them do a strike of strength 2 against pink. Now, when somebody has a strike done against them, so let's actually, okay. We'll talk about what the options are for blocking afterwards, but I just want to explain strikes first. Now, dashing strike is essentially the same idea or similar idea as a strike, except for it does 2 things. One is going to have you play multiple cards, so you're going to use 1 card for the dash and then whatever number of strike cards for the strike. They all have to be the same number, of course. And then 2, you will force your opponent to do nothing, assuming if your opponent does not block and your opponent decides to run away or evade, then that will force them to do nothing on their next turn except for just recover. So we'll explore both of those because we'll have a few rounds to explain this in my demo series, my rolling teach that I'm doing as I'm playing this game. So in this case, I said the gray player is going to do what's called a dashing strike. So they are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away. They're going to play this would be pretty potent. They're going to play a 2 to dash. So I'm going to dash 2, and they're going to play 2 4s to strike. So they're dashing 2, 1, 2, and they're striking with 2 4s. Now, if my opponent had played just a single 4, what I could do is I could have discarded my 4 because the active player is still gray right now. I just want to be clear. The active player is gray, but now I have to respond as the orange player because if I don't block this, or I don't run away from this, then I will lose this round, and my opponent, my gray opponent, will have gotten a strike on me, and they'll win this round. So if my opponent, my gray opponent, had played a 2 and a 4, so a dashing 2, strike 4, then I could play a single 4 to block it, and then I can play my next turn like normal. I have all my options available, but I'll have 4 cards in my hand instead of 5. But because my opponent played a dash of 2 and a strike of double 4, I don't have double 4s in my hand, so I need to, my only options are to either take the hit, which will lose me the round, or to run away, or to, what's it called? 1 second. I don't see the wording in here. I'm trying to find the word for what it's called when your opponent runs away. Evades? Oh, here it is. If you did a dashing strike, your opponent must respond or they lose a round. Oh, okay. Well, that's the turn structure. That didn't help out. Oh, here it is. Surviving an attack or a dashing strike. So for surviving an attack, you have to block, and for surviving a dashing strike, you can retreat. So in this case, I'm going to do a retreat because that's my only option available. I do not have the double 4s to block their strike, so I cannot do that. I cannot block, so I have to do a retreat. So I will retreat by playing a single, let's see, I'm going to play a single 2. I'm going to play this 2. I can play whatever number I want, and that's going to allow me to run away that many spaces. So 1, 2. So I'm moving backwards 2 spaces. And that's it. So now that's done. My opponent, my gray opponent, they attacked me. They did a dashing strike. They're going to go into their recovery phase. And now the consequence of me doing a retreat means that I must recover. As in, I cannot do a move back or forward. I cannot do a strike back to my opponent. All I can do is just get my card back up to recover. So that kind of forces me into like a defensive stance, if you will. So now my opponent's going to go again, and let's see, they still want to be aggressive. So let's see, can they be aggressive? We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it looks like they can be aggressive. And 1 second, let me... Yeah, there we go. All right, so my opponent can be aggressive, so they will try to. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces that they're away. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces that they're away from me. So they're going to try to do a dashing strike again. So they're going to play 2 3s. They're going to play dash with 3 and strike with 3. So dash with 3, 1, 2, 3, and then strike with 3, 1, 2, 3. And that means that, okay, I can either block or I can retreat. Those are my 2 options. So in this case, I am going to decide to block instead because they're only attacking with a single 3. They dashed with 1, 3 and they struck with 1, 3. So I blocked with a 3. And now that happens, my opponent's going to recover. So they're going to get their 2 cards back. And now we're in a situation to where it is my turn. Because I blocked, I have the right to be able to attack, move, or do normal things on my turn. Notice I'll have less cards in my hand. So when you do block from a dashing strike, or when you do block from a strike in general, you will have less cards in your hand if you survive that round. But this is perfectly fine because if you notice that I have a 3. My opponent's 3 away. I'm going to play a 3 to just do a standing strike. And my opponent is 1, 2, 3 spaces away. Now, in this case, when somebody's doing a standing strike, the only option that you have, oops, sorry, this is too loud. There we go. Sorry, I just turn my audio down a little bit. The only option that you have when your opponent does a standing strike is for your opponent to do a block. So in this case, my opponent must block with exactly a 3. It has to be exactly a 3. It cannot be greater than or less than. There's no adding up 2 cards. If they had 3 1s, they could not use those 3 1s as a single 3. Nope, it has to be exactly a 3. So my opponent has no 3s, so therefore my opponent gets hit, therefore my opponent loses, and I get the victory. Woo! And that is the end of the round. That's pretty much it. So in a 2-player game, you'll at the end of that, you'll reset, and then you'll do it all over again. Now, you might be asking, what happens? What happens if you have a situation to where the primary player or neither player actually takes out the other player? That is a great question. And what happens in those situations is that you'll look at the board, and whoever is furthest along, as in whoever is further along the board, so in this case, if gray was here and I as orange were here, then gray will win the game because they're further along on the track. And that's if we run out of cards in the deck. So that is an important thing to note. There's also another rule. Hold on, let me double check. Because at timeout, there's a few things that happen. At timeout, first thing that happens is when the last card is drawn, time has run out. Whoever advanced the furthest on the board wins. If both players advance the same distance, the round is a draw, and both players get a win token for the round. I thought there was a final strike. No? Huh. No, not seeing it. Okay, well, never mind. Yeah, I thought there was situations where there was like a final strike, as in you get to check your cards at the time or right before the timeout, and if you can hit somebody, you can hit somebody. If you can't, then the game's over. Looks like they might have removed that rule because I did have an older edition I remember this from. So, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do another demo of the simulated two-player. I'm gonna play double-handed here, and then I'll talk about how to play solo. So this is all still a part of the rules teach here since we're doing the active situation. Okay, so there we go. We got my opponent's cards, we got my cards. My opponent will go first because I would like for them to go first. So now they're gonna start. Let's see, they got some numbers here. They're gonna play a 4. They're gonna start off strong. Get right along that little board. And then up for me, oh, sorry, they recover. And then up for me, I'm gonna start off strong by playing a 5. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. Now, the normal thing in this game is that you really have to be careful about what cards you play and what cards you move with. So in this case, it's extremely dangerous for me to move forward 5, and I'll tell you why. Because my opponent played a 4. That means that they clearly might have another 5. Normally in the game, I'll have the information of what's in my hand here and what's in the discard. I think the rules say you can dig through the discard. I don't know if that's what the official rules say, but the way I always play it is that you're not allowed to touch the discard pile. Is you either pay attention or you just kind of live with yourself from there. So live with the consequences of the actions of not paying attention. So what I'm saying is that me playing a 5 means that I risk that my opponent has some 5s in their hand, and they could really mess me up if they get some 5s and just knock me out. So I gotta be really careful about that. I gotta be really cognizant about that, if you will. So in this case, I am gonna still commit to my little 5 that I played, and I moved forward 5 already. So now I recover, and it's my opponent's turn. My opponent, let's see, do they want to be aggressive? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could do a dashing, no they can't. They're too far away. So my opponent is going to go ahead and just do, just move forward 2. Like so. All right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just barely out of range of my strike of 5, if I had a 5, but I don't have a 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do a dashing strike though, because that's going to be 6 away. So I'm gonna dash forward 4 and then strike 2. Sorry, no, dash forward 2, strike 4. So dash forward 2, 1, 2. I'm gonna strike 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My opponent is going to choose either block or to run away. They are going to choose to block because they have a 4. So they're gonna block with this 4, and that allows them to have a turn still. So my dashing strike was not successful. I recover. And now my opponent is gonna go, and my opponent is going to do a dashing strike with a 1 and then, yeah, with a 1 and a 3. No, with a 3 and a 1. They're gonna use a 3 and a 1. So they're gonna dash 3, strike with 1. So they're gonna dash 3, 1, 2, 3, because they wanna be aggressive, they wanna get to that side of the board. And they're gonna strike with 1. I can respond by either evading or retreating, or I can play a 1 to block. I do have a 1 to block, I am gonna block it. And that's very dangerous for my opponent, but they held on to a 1 just in case. So in this case, they're gonna go ahead and recover. Ooh, they got some 1s. That's nice. And then from my side, I don't want to be this close to my opponent. I'm gonna go ahead and cede some ground here to them. So I'm gonna back up 5, because I feel like that'll be safe. Get out of the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hope that they don't have anything to kind of come at me with. And now keep in mind, the only reason why I got to play my turn like normal in the last one is because I blocked their dashing strike instead of retreating. If you retreat, the only thing you can do is recover. Just to reiterate, if you retreat, the only thing you can do is recover. So that situation was slightly different. So, all right, my opponent's gonna go, since orange is done. Now we're gonna go over to the bot, to the gray player, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away. They don't want to play too fast and loose with the rules. They're going to just back up 1. You know, there's a pretty good spot they got for themselves. So they're going to draw a card. And then for me, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I can just subtract these two numbers and notice how far away it is, but it's sometimes hard for me to remember that. So we're gonna dash 4, strike 3, and we're gonna hope that they don't have anything that can like really mess us up. So we're dashing 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, strike 3, and my opponent, they're gonna respond by blocking with a single 3 because they have a 3. And I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but it's okay, I got a 3. And then I recover. Ooh, I got 2 5s, that feels good. Now my opponent, they're gonna go in aggressive. They're gonna just strike for 3 because they have a nice strike card. They feel I don't have a 3, but aha, I held on to a 3. So I'm gonna block their strike with that. And now my opponent, they're gonna go ahead and recover. And they're getting some pretty good cards over there, but I don't know what they have because it's my turn on the orange side. I think, so the one action that I have not explained yet is the push action. So push is an action that only shows up if you are moving towards your opponent. Sorry, if you're on this right in front of your opponent. So if I, as the orange player, were here, I could do a push by just playing a number from my hand, and it forces my opponent to move back that many spaces. It's an action that you won't see super ultra often. You especially will not see it in my next turn because I don't have any 1s, because 1s are very strong. And I normally won't know what my opponent has. Like they have 3 1s and 2 2s, but I don't want to be risky because I know in my hand I got, you know, long range cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and just back up 2. Actually, I'm gonna back up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. Get out of the range and recover. Get me some cards. Now my opponent's gonna go, and they're a little bit upset because they got some shorthand cards. So they're going to just go ahead and just play a 2. Just walk on forward, and close the gap. Now they got a 5 for themselves, and I am actually going to strike. I'm going to do a strike with 2 5s because my opponent has walked into my trap. That's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I play 2 5s. My opponent only has 1 5, so they cannot block. Therefore, they take a hit, and I will win the second game. Boom, there you go. And that's basically how the game works. You basically just do that back and forth, and that is the entirety of the simple game. Now, there is a more advanced game where you bring in abilities, and there's a whole bunch of different characters. There's also a dragon battle you can do, and a trader mechanic that you can have. But the main thing is that you have these character cards, and these character cards, I don't think I'm going to play with them today, but essentially what you can do is you can have certain abilities, and these abilities will have very specific trigger text on them. So if I bring up some of these cards here, let me bring it up on my other camera. 1 second. My other camera, where'd you go? Huh. Well, that's weird. There we go. Sorry, my camera's not set in the right spot, y'all. Pardon me. There we go. Get these 3 cards over here, like so. And then autofocus. I can't autofocus. Zoom in more. Enhance. Wow, the autofocus is really struggling on that one. There we go. All right, so if we bring this over, you can see the cards and they have different text. The main things on these cards is that they'll have an ability name, which is at the top. They'll have a little image of what character you are. And then they'll have the trigger text. This is the most important part, the trigger text. And then finally, the text of the effect. So the trigger text here will only happen if the trigger text triggers, of course, because that's why it's called trigger text. And in this case, it says that if the opponent retreats from your dashing strike, then you can activate this ability at that time, and then the opponent must show you their hand. Now, while playing solo, this is not a super useful ability, but playing against another person, this can give you some intel and stuff, and they essentially give you different powers, and all the powers are very varied and different, and it's very creative and cool. There's even one character in here, the panda character, where his whole thing is that he's a gambling panda. And, oh yeah, see, they're right there. Look at that. I know what I'm talking about. Look at that. It says gambling panda right there. But essentially, his cards are kind of on the gambling side. So, for instance, one of his cards is if you get a run. So, if you get a 1 through 5 in your hand, you can reveal that, and then you take a. Sorry, you may reveal a 5-card hand or 5-card straight. So 1 through 5, and then if you do, you get to take an extra turn after this one. So you basically take 2 turns in a row. And that's basically just guarantees you a win. There's also another one where it says your opponent may immediately forfeit the round if they don't draw a card, and the winner of this round wins 2 rounds. So pretty cool stuff. You can be very risky. You can risk it for the biscuit. But essentially that's what the characters do. So you have those 3 abilities. You can activate them at any time. Your opponent will know what abilities that you have, and you'll know what abilities your opponents have. And you play the game from there. But like I said, we're not going to play with those. Those are pretty cool. Those a nice little variant to kind of spice it up. Now, I have not explained how to play solo. I know we're 25 minutes in, and I haven't even explained how to play solo. So let me go ahead and explain how to play solo. So the way solo works is essentially my opponent is going to have an open hand of cards. So I will have my hand of cards. So we'll do it this way. We'll put the deck here. My opponent's cards, I'll put them up top here. Like so. And then my cards will go down here on the bottom. And what's going to happen in this situation is that my opponent will will basically draw the top card from the deck, and that will be the card that they play. If they can dashing strike, then they will dashing strike with that card. Otherwise, they'll just move with that card. And if I attack my opponent before we evaluate any blocks that they get, they'll draw the top card from the deck, and then we'll evaluate blocks. So they'll have 6 cards in their hand. And only the bot gets to do this. So they basically get some, some secret information here. But otherwise, I'll know pretty much the entire deck that they have, or the entire hand that they have, and I'll have to plan around that with my abilities here, or with my strategies here, I should say, not my abilities. Let me go back. Okay, and as far as everything else goes, let's see. The bot has a few rules that they'll follow, and I'll bring this up here on the screen so we can all look at it together. Right there. And the bot has a few rules that they'll try to follow, and there'll be these rules here. So the bot attacks if they can. And they'll always power up the attack with pairs and triples as much as possible. If the bot is adjacent to opponent, then he pushes with the card drew for the turn. If the bot can dashing strike using the card drew from the dash, using the card drew as a dash and other cards as a strike, they do. The bot always powers up the strike as much as possible. Otherwise, the bot moves forward, never backwards. And then on my turn, the bot plays according to these rules. Whenever I attack or dashing strike the bot, they get to draw an extra card, and then they can block. They block if they can. The bot cannot block when I do a dashing strike. Then they will retreat from using the card that I drew as their movement. And there's 3 different types of bots I can fight. There's the training dummy, which is what I'm going to be fighting now. There's Garrus Rook, who I'm not going to fight. Actually, I might fight. I might play around against him. And then finally, there's Death Strike, which I haven't played it with, but Death Strike will have these abilities, and it's Giant Dragon. And the biggest, most important thing is that there's achievables. Look at the achievables. So the achievables here are basically achievements that you can try to earn. And the question is, can you earn all 180 achievement points? I have no desire to do so. But if you really like the game a lot, you could definitely do that. But essentially, I'm going to try to go for the initiation. So win a round against a training dummy, and first win a game best of 3 out of 5 against a training dummy. I think that's my biggest aspirations there. I'm not going to go any higher than that, because that seems like a lot. Like this one here is beat the dragon with all 20 characters. Yikes. This one says win the game against the dragon bot with 3 different characters. I mean, I guess it gives you like a little bit of progress, but I mean, I'll just take my 10 little points and walk away, assuming I can get a victory here. So let's go ahead and get started. This is we'll play this as our first hand of cards. Now that we have all the rules, and my apologies for making this kind of a little bit more extended with the explanation, but I wanted to show instead of just tell how the game goes. And we'll start. So we will flip a coin. Actually, we'll roll a die to figure out who goes first. So I will take odds, and my bot will take even. And it is even, so the bot goes first. Oh wait, does it say in the rulebook if the bot's always first? Or if I'm always first? Let me check. Because it might specify. Now it says flip a coin to see who goes first. If you win, the bot goes first next round. Okay, so the bot will go first because they won the coin toss. So they will play the top card from the deck. So they'll play 2. So they cannot do a dashing strike with a 2 plus anything in their hand. They're way too far away, so they'll move forward 2. That's it. Now it's on to my turn. I'm gonna go ahead and just move forward with 3. Try to get in the bot's face with all my 1s here and recover. Now it's the bot's turn. They're gonna move forward with 2. They got some long range cards, so I'm a little bit afraid of that. So I really wanna get on the inside and like smack them around if I can. It's over to me, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we are 10 away. So if I move forward with a 5, I run the risk of getting dashing struck. So I can move forward with a 3. Oh, actually they can already dashing strike. Yeah, I need to move forward with 3. I'll move forward with 3, and that way they won't be able to dashing strike me. Actually, no, they could, because they could. Oh, you know what? I might have done goofed. I might have done goofed. They got a 1, so dash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whew! Just barely dodging bullets here. Just look at me, Neo, dodging bullets. So they cannot dashing strike with that because they're 6 away, and now I am going to dashing strike. So I'm going to dash with a 5 and then strike with a single 1. So dash with the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, strike with a 1. My opponent is the bot, so we're gonna check to see if they can block. They cannot block, so they're gonna draw this card. First they draw the card, the extra card, and then they see if they can block with any of the cards from the card they drew plus any of these cards. If they can, they will block, but otherwise they cannot. So if they cannot, then they will retreat with this. So 1, 2, cool. And then I recover. And then the bot, because they retreated, they do not get an attack. So their forwards back, or they just recover. They already got 5 cards, so now on my turn. And I think I'm gonna dashing strike again. So dash with the 2, strike with the 1. I'm gonna be aggressive. 1, 2, strike with the 1. And the bot, they're gonna do the same thing. They cannot block with the 4. So they will run away with it. 1, 2, 3, as far as they can back. I got them back into the wall. Got them right where I want them. I want them. I'm gonna do it again. So now that's done, we're over to the bot. They have to recover, so they're done. Back over to me. Another rule, another small nuance thing I guess I should point out is that I can dashing strike, but I have to, let's see, when I move, can I dashing strike with a higher number? Let me see. To dashing strike, first play a card to dash towards the opponent, then immediately play another card as your strike. The strike must be the same number as the distance to the opponent after the dash. You can strengthen the strike by playing multiple cards. Doesn't say. Let me see, do they got any FAQ back here? Okay, so here's some general rules things. So if I'm 3 spaces away from my opponent, can I dashing strike with a 5 for the dash and 1 as a strike? The answer is yes. If you would dash past the opponent, instead you stop adjacent to them. You can then strike with a 1. This means that 1s are pretty valuable because there are several different ways to dashing strike an opponent with a 1. Oh, perfect. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and end this. So we're gonna dash with 4, because we can. I know I have 3s, but I'm gonna dash with the 4. 1, 2, 3, look at that, boom. And I'm gonna strike with 2 1s, which will be impossible for the bot to block. So even if the bot draws a 1, which they did, they still cannot block that. There's no way for them to retreat, so therefore they must block, and they can't, so therefore they lose, and I will get the first victory. Woo! All right, kick their butts. Hey, and that means I got my first achievement. I got my first achievable, y'all. Let's see, my achievable that I got was initiation. Win a round against a training dummy without using any abilities. Oh, I don't have any abilities, so I couldn't use any. So therefore, I get 5 points. Woo! What do these points give me? Bragging rights, I guess is it. Just bragging rights, nothing else. Another thing to mention about this game is that there is a card version of the board. So you can use these cards to carry around just a single deck with you, and you can use some pennies or something to keep track of the victory markers, maybe like a ball of paper to be your pawn or something. And you can play Flash Duel wherever you go. So it makes it nice and travelable. And I appreciate that greatly. I used to travel with this game a lot more back in the days. All right, just gonna go ahead and get this all settled here. Okay, shuffled. Do a cut, and now we're ready to go. So I won, that means the bot gets to go first this round, so I will deal to them first. Oh, also, a very important thing that I forgot. You're supposed to take 5 cards out of the deck after you deal. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Or before you deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my apologies. I completely forgot about that in the rules teach, but I caught it just now. So therefore, you can't blame me for it. I fixed it. All right, so now that we're there, I'm way back here. My bot's over there. And they get to go first. Scrubs go first, I guess. Scrubs go first, I guess. So they'll go ahead and flip over the card. They'll move forward 3. So 1, 2, 3. And that's it. So now it's over to me. That's a 3. I got a lot of 3s in my hand. So I'm going to try to hold on to my 3s because they might be strong later on. So move forward 2. Recover. Oh, another 2. All right, bot's turn. They're going to move forward with the 2. Ooh. We're getting a lot of the numbers out. We're doing the numbers here. Now it's my turn. I'm going to move forward with the 2 again. Remember, there's only 8 of each card. Oh, I got a 5. Nice. So they're going to try to do a 4. They're, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. They cannot do a dashing strike with that, so they're just going to move forward 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the dashing strike that they do will always be this as a dash and then those as a strike, just to clarify. The rulebook specifically calls it out. This is the dash and those are the strikes. It doesn't say that you can dash with any of these and strike with that. I will double check just in case though. Let's see. Oh, also another clarification is very important. On each of the bot's turns, the bot will draw a card and then play according to the rules. So the bot attacks if they can, and they'll always power up the attacks as much as possible. If they are adjacent to the opponent, they'll push. Otherwise, they move forward, never backwards. So they try to strike, and then dashing strikes, they'll try to do those if they can. Yeah, there you go. If the bot can dashing strike using the card he drew as a dash and other cards from his hand as a strike, he does. The bot always powers up the strike as much as possible. Okay. So they only do dashing strike if they can dash with this and strike with those. So they could not dash with this and strike with those. They could have done a different, well, no, they couldn't. Yeah, they just can't. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I'm belaboring that too much. All right, move back over to me. They are 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. I have no 4s. I can't even dashing strike. That's frustrating. So you know what? Let's see. Can I move back to without? Wait, where am I? Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay, I was on 5. I'm torn. I don't want to get close to them because they have 2 1s. They can just mess me up real bad. They got 2 2s, so I don't want to get in within 2 of them either. So I think I'm just backing up 5. Because I want to get away from them. Oh, that's dangerous. Nope, I don't want to back up 5. I want to back up 2. That gives me a little bit of runaway room. Hopefully they're not within range to do a dashing strike, but we'll see in a second. So they got a 1, so dash. Can they strike? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh gosh darn it, they can. So they will strike with the dash of 1 and strike with the 5. They cannot power it up, so it's just a simple 5. Thankfully, I just drew a 5. Whew, so lucky. So therefore, I block, they recover, and now it's on like Donkey Kong. So I can dashing strike. Oh, I need a 2. Ah, heck. So I want to move forward 1. Okay. This is risky. I don't have enough ones to fight their ones, but I'm gonna dash forward with a 1, or move forward with a 1, and then I'm gonna hope that I can get some numbers to help me. Got a 2 and a 1. All right, bot's turn. Are they messing me up? They're gonna. Oh, they are. That was a dashing strike though, so this is okay. So dashing strike. So dash with the 5, strike with 2 1s, and I cannot block that with the cards I have. So I will play a. 1, 2. Yeah, I'll play a 2. I'll retreat with a 2. So that way I'm 3 away, and now the bot's going to recover. And then I am going to just recover because that's all I can do because I retreated. Now we're back over to the bot's turn, and the bot is going to draw their card. And oh my gosh, they can strike. 1, 2, 3. They got 2 3s, so they will power it up. So that's 2 3s that they're striking with. I got a lot of 3s already though, so I'm blocking those with 2 3s. They'll draw. And then on to my turn, I will try to strike them with a single 3. The bot will draw a card, and then they'll evaluate. They cannot block, therefore they are defeated. Whew. They were being aggressive there, man. All right. So that is a victory for me. That was deadly scary, deadly scary. But I stood my ground, getting my victories here, getting my W's. All right, so we're gonna shuffle these out the best I can. I'm gonna go and do my little card sleeve shuffle here. Try to get this as mixed up as possible because I know a lot of numbers are grouped together. Sometimes you can't help it, but you know, you try to avoid it if you can. Okay, so I think I shuffled enough, so we're gonna go ahead and cut, and my opponent goes first, so there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All I gotta do is win one more game, and the game is over. Game is so jover. All right, let's see how this duel goes. So starting off with my opponent, and they will move forward. 1, 2. All right. I don't like how many 5s they have, so I'm gonna move forward with the 5. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna try to collect me some 5s. I'll move forward with the 4. There we go. Draw my card. My opponent's gonna go. They draw 2. 1, 2. They can't dashing strike from there. Can I dashing strike? That's a 9. So no, I cannot. I will dash forward 3 or move forward 3. Actually, it's fine. I'll move forward 3 because they can't just strike me from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, they cannot just strike me from there. Ooh, I got 2 5s. All right, my opponent, what are they doing? They're dashing 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can they strike? They can with the 2. I can block with the 2 though. So they're striking with the 2, and they're dashing strike with the 2. I'm going to block with this 2, so nothing happens. They recover. And the reason why is because I want to try and take them out. So I'm going to dash with a 5 and strike with a 1. So dashing strike with a single 1. And my opponent is going to block. Oh, shoot. I should have done double 1. It's too late. They're going to block with a single 1. There we go. Well, do they get this card? Hold on. 1 second. I don't know how that refills. Hold on. They already had a 1, but before they do anything, they will draw the card. Let's see. It says, whenever you attack or dashing strike the bot, he draws an extra card, then blocks if he can. Only the bot gets to draw a card in the situation. Human players never do. So it says draw. So yeah, there we go. So blocks with that, and now this is his hand. Okay. All right, and then I recover. Ooh, good. I got another 1. All right, and then the bot's going to go ahead and do a thing. They're getting a 4. They cannot strike with anything they have, so they will push me instead because they never retreat. And that puts me at 5 range, but I don't want to be at 5 range. So I think I'm going to Dashing Strike with a 4 and then a 1, a single 1. I'm going to do it again, and then they're going to respond. They cannot block that 1. They don't have a 1, so they're playing this 3 as a retreat. Perfect. So I'm putting them on the back foot, trying to get some more ground here. My opponent can't do anything but recover, so they're done. So it's over to me, and my opponent is 4 spaces away from me. So close. I think I'm going to Dashing Strike again. So I'm going to dash with the 3 and then strike with the 1. So 1, 2, 3, strike with the 1. My opponent, they're going to draw their extra card. They have nothing to block. They cannot block that 1. So therefore, they're going to retreat with the 4 they just drew. And that puts them at the perfect range. Actually, no, it doesn't. Well, it does, but they got more 5s than I do. So I don't want to risk dying here from this. Actually, let me draw my cards. Ha! Perfect. So they can't do anything. They're recovering. So I'm playing a triple 3 5s for a strike. So this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if they draw a 5, they can block it. Woo! They don't draw a 5. Perfect. All right. So they are struck. Therefore, I win. Therefore, I win the best of 5. Whew. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Now you're making me work for it. And that is it. We have finished our series. I won 3 games in a row. And that means I get, that's right, another achievable. Woo! So let's check out the achievements here. If you guys don't know the reference for achievables, then I feel so old. It's from Red versus Blue with Donut talking about Xbox 360, the new achievables. Anyway. All right, so this is a first win. Win a game best 3 out of 5 against the training dummy without using any abilities. I did that too, so I got me 10 points. Heck yeah, 10 points. Woo! All right, now the other one is I can try to play against Gar's Rook. So Gar's Rook is the bot version of this, so that allows me to use the abilities. I think I said before I wasn't going to do a playthrough of it. I'm still not gonna, but I guess I could. Okay, fine. I mean, I won 1 best of 3. Do I need to win 2 best of 3s? Sorry. Listen to me getting all cocky there. This one will involve abilities. The bot will always use the Gar's Rook or the dragon that's in the rulebook there. And the reason why is because Gar's Rook's abilities, they don't really need much to trigger. And the rules essentially say that whenever you can trigger his abilities, the bot will. So if you look at the abilities over here, the abilities are very simple and straightforward. This one triggers when the opponent dashing strikes you. So if I dashing strike the bot, then this triggers. Thunderclap, you dashing strike using 1s to strike. That's what it says. The opponent cannot retreat. And then finally, you attack with 1s. Your attack is unblockable. That's very simple. It just triggers when it triggers. So as a result, Gar's Rook is the simplest of the characters. Because I'm not going to play through them, I am going to go ahead and just display, maybe not all of them, but just a selection of them, a random assortment of them. So we have Grave Stormborn, and this is the one that we looked at earlier with his abilities. Let's see, we got the gambling panda we talked about. We have one of them that I actually kind of like, which is the pacifist guy. He is, oh wow, Agargar. So that's his name there. Pretty cool little portrait, but this is him. And one of his abilities is essentially, you win the round if it reaches timeout. So this is always in effect. This one's pretty fun because essentially if timeout doesn't matter how far the opponent got, as long as you're still alive, then hey, you get a free victory. So that puts a timer on the opponent. Another one is opponent dashing strikes you, move to an adjacent unoccupied space. If you do, you avoid the strike, but you must recover next turn. So essentially you get like a free avoidance of dashing strike. And then finally Bubble Shield, it says you're attacked. Discard a pair to retreat 1 space, then skip your next turn. What? You don't have to recover after that. Huh. Interesting. So you discard a pair to retreat 1 space, then skip your next turn? That's interesting. Okay. All right. All right. I don't know how I feel about that ability. I feel like that ability is just saying that, oh, I see, I see. So if you cannot block the attack that they give you, I see. That makes sense. And then we have this one. Oh, I remember this one. The Phoenix Archer. This is a Jania Stormborn, the Phoenix Archer. And she has one that says, yeah, this one, Flame Arrow. Hit an opponent that's 6 spaces away. In a 1v1, you win the round because there's no card to block a 6. Start a turn, retrieve a 5 from the discard pile, and then finally charge shot. Reveal a card from your hand, push an opponent back that many spaces, which is pretty nice because she's all about the distance. She's the archer. She doesn't want to be near you. Whereas Garrus wants to be all up in your face. But there's a whole bunch of different characters, and I'll count out how many there are. I'm not going to show everybody, but I'll count out how many there are. So let's see. I think there's 20. Sorry, I don't need to count. The rulebook told me there's 20 different characters because it says beat the dragon bot with all 20 characters. So that is one of the benefits of this one. You got a lot of variety. You got a lot of ways to shake up the game and change up the game. But at its core, it's a pretty straightforward game. It's a very simple one, and I do like visiting this one. I do think it's a pretty fun 2-player game, and I'll talk more about it in my review. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and close out our video here for the playthrough. So thank you all very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, I will see y'all whenever.